born and raised in Great Falls, Montana. My dad was a career Air Force officer. Grew up Missouri Synod Lutheran, but somehow found my way to St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. Went there and spent then a decade after college doing admissions and financial aid counseling for a variety of schools, including my alma mater. Then met my husband and got married and went straight to seminary and went to Wartburg Seminary and have then since 2003 been an ordained clergy person. Had parishes in the Midwest, out here in Pennsylvania and in Southern California where we are currently moving from right now. In fact, my first call was in Northeast Penn, so I'm coming back to an area that is a little bit familiar to be back here, although I have to admit I did not come to the Philadelphia Seminary at all while I was stationed there because we lived in Lancaster and you know what was a little closer. We actually met Dr. Loos 7 or 8 years ago doing a week of continuing ed for me at one of our wonderful outdoor ministry programs in Montana called Christicon. He was one of the 2 speakers. We got to know he and his family quite well. In fact, my husband taught his son to fish that weekend. They were city folk and we were from Montana, so we were able to share some of that with the family while they were there. And we had followed his career, particularly I as a preaching pastor had followed all the exciting things that he was putting out in terms of preparation for preaching clergy. And so when this position came open for Dennis, actually, for the Vice President for Advancement, Dennis called and sent an email and called, and Dr. Loos said, "Boy, you've got exactly the skills we need, but you know what? I have this other position that I'm searching for that Trina might be interested in." So I talked to him for quite a while about that. I've really enjoyed parish ministry and feel pretty strongly that I have gifts for parish ministry. But he was looking for someone who had strong gifts for parish ministry and also some background in higher education to bring those things together for this new position. What interests me most about this new job is one of the things is working with Dr. Loos, who, as I've mentioned, we've followed for years, and I think has some really exciting new ideas for the direction of seminary education for our church and for the broader church. So we're very excited to be able to be part of what he's doing here at the Philadelphia Seminary. I also have always been one of those pastors who likes to make lists of the things I never got taught when I was in seminary that I encountered in my ministry then. You know, pastors love to say, "I was never prepared for this," or "I had this experience today, nothing in seminary prepared me for that." And so I have been one of those people that keeps lists of things like that. And part of what I am to do here in my role is to think about those things that students aren't getting in the classroom that are very necessary for any type of public ministry, not just folks that are ordained to Word and Sacrament, but anybody who's in public leadership in the church and social organizations, the things that they need that they're not going to get in the classroom academically. And so I get to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, because now it's part of my role here to make sure students are getting some of those things. It is a brand new position here at the seminary, and it's tying together several different areas, and so it's kind of a work in progress. And so I see, particularly the first 6 to 8 months, my job is to become as deeply immersed in this community as I can, in its history, in its stories, in the folks who've been here, the folks who are here now, to hear about what makes this place special, to hear about what those who've gone forward from here, what they're thinking that they wish they would have had in seminary, so that I can be beginning to address some of those things, be it more work in spiritual exercises, more practical things like no one taught me how to do a budget or run a meeting. So that's what I'm going to be doing over the next 6 to 8 months, is really getting a feel for this place, a feel for the students that we have, a feel for the students who've gone forward, so that we can then create a vision for what is to come. I have lived on both coasts and in the middle, and I have met clergy who've been trained at all 8 of our seminaries and many of our sister seminaries and other denominations. One of the things that's really exciting about this seminary is the student body. My husband and I, who are both brand new staff here, have been attending the Intro to Public Theology course, and there has not been a class where I haven't wept, almost wet myself laughing, found myself taking notes frantically, thinking, oh, that's a story I've got to remember. I know I'm going to be able to use that somewhere else. And just been so impressed by the variety of people that are here. Many of our seminaries have a monoculture. This place, the 50, 60 students that are in this class who are all brand new to the seminary, they are the most diverse, exciting group of people that I've had a pleasure to be with lately. And Dr. John Paul, who's teaching that, is perfect because he just lets them, I don't want to say run wild, that sounds not so good, but he really lets them explore in ways that includes everybody, sometimes goes out to the edge and then pulls back in, but I think that's what people need to know, is that this seminary is not like our other seminaries. It has some very exciting, I think life-changing and necessary for the way the culture and our church are headed right now, some necessary gifts that we can give to the rest of the church. Not everybody gets to work in an executive position with one's spouse. However, Dennis and I have always been very helpful to one another in our careers. He has been the greatest pastor's wife ever for me. He has, taught Sunday school. He'll dress up in about any costume I ask him to help with things. He has always been very present as my partner when I have been a clergy person in a parish. And on the flip side, he has held a number of executive positions, vice president and president of colleges, in which I was a full partner, helping with donors, helping to organize my own events and so on. So I think we're going to find that to be perhaps more of the same, a little bit more intimate than it has been before, because it's official now that we both have titles that make it official. I am truly going to benefit from the fact that he has a lot of experience in student services and in higher ed administration, which the institution will benefit from, because I'll be able to go to him with questions on some of those things that he might have more experience on. Don't put that in.
That's good.